All rise. Support court with Judge Vonda B is now in session. Judge, this is case number JVB 1061, Lopez case.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
You all may be seated. Ms. Lopez,
Yes, ma'am.
you brought this case before the court. What's going on?
Judge, I have a really great daughter. However, we have a kind of a bad situation. My daughter seems to be so busy sometimes that I think she knows she's a mom, but she kind of has other responsibilities that she's kind of putting in the forefront of everything. And so it's the last 2 years, it's kind of gotten difficult for me. We have one baby girl, her name is London, and she's almost 2, and my daughter is trying to go to college, work, be a mom, and everything else that she wants to be. And so it's just gotten to a point where it's kind of ridiculous because I need some assistance financially, and unfortunately, I'm not getting it.
Okay. All right. And do you pay health insurance for the child?
She is on Medicaid right now because we qualify for Medicaid.
All right. Okay. Anything else you want me?
This case opens with Ms. Lopez stepping up not as a mother, but as a grandmother who's been left to handle full-time parenting duties. Her voice is calm, but her words are heavy. She's raising her granddaughter London while her daughter prioritizes college, work, and everything else. The courtroom atmosphere shifts as Judge Bailey hears that despite loving her daughter, Ms. Lopez can no longer handle the financial weight alone. A clear picture begins to form. This isn't just help from Grandma, it's a full-time responsibility masked as temporary support.
Okay. Anything else you want me to know before I move over to her?
That's pretty much the brunt of it, so I'll let her speak her piece and see if we can maybe find a resolution today.
Okay. Okay. Yes, ma'am.
So I am a full-time student, college student.
Okay.
So I'm spending most of my times, at nights going to school. But on top of that, I also work for the university during the day.
What do you do?
I'm actually an intern, full-time intern for the psychology program. And so.
Is that a paid position?
Yes, it is.
How much are you paid?
Well, I just got a promotion.
That's
to
good.
50,000.
Okay.
Yeah. I just feel like I work, all day. I go to school at nights. I don't come home.
Congratulations. We all work all day.
Yeah, I don't get home until like midnight, and I don't really see why it's a problem that my mother, the grandmother of my child, has to.
Well, because I'm not the one that got pregnant on prom night. You wouldn't be having this problem.
Okay.
That wasn't my decision.
Okay, but you're my mother, right? So
I
you
had
always
one
said
child.
you wanted a grandchild, didn't
I
you?
had one child. Yes, I wanted a grandchild, but it would have been nice if you would have got married first and had someone to share the responsibility with, not me.
I can't do it by myself though.
You're not doing it by yourself.
I'm trying to use that money, right? So that way I can pay for my tuition for college.
Well, I can appreciate that, honey, but you know what? Your main responsibility is being a mom.
I agree with your mom.
Now we hear from the daughter, a full-time student and intern earning $50,000 a year. She claims she's grinding day and night to build a better life, but Judge Bailey isn't sold. The tension spikes when the daughter says she doesn't see why Grandma should be paid. But here's the kicker. If it were daycare, she'd have no issue paying. Judge Bailey sees right through it. This moment is all about accountability. Ambition is commendable, but not when it ignores the very basics of parenting.
This is your child, and you said something very key while you were talking. You said grandmother. Right. You're her child. She raised you. It is not her responsibility to raise your child.
Right.
It is your responsibility.
I just feel like I don't really have to owe her anything.
You don't feel like you should pay your mother? If your daughter were going to daycare, you would be paying the daycare, right? Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you feel like they should be paid?
Yes.
They're taking care of your child, looking after your child, changing diapers, feedings. They should be paid, right?
Right.
Your mother is doing everything I just named, correct?
Yes.
So it logically follows that she should be paid too, right?
Yeah.
So what's your issue?
Well, she uses her money for the school loans, and I can appreciate that she doesn't want to have school debt.
Right.
But
Yeah,
now
that's a
that
good
she's
thing.
making more money, she's going to have
Grandma
to
brings
give
receipts, not financial ones, but emotional and factual. She explains that her daughter may be chasing a future without debt, but that can't come at the cost of someone else footing the parenting bill. She's covering diapers, housing, and daily care. Meanwhile, the mother insists she's doing her part by going to school. But the court, and likely every viewer, sees the imbalance. Grandma didn't sign up to relive motherhood just because her daughter chose a different route. It's a moment that screams, sacrifice has limits.
a little bit of that. They live with me. The house is paid. We don't have that bill. So I know she wants to be responsible and not have any debt, but you know, mommy doesn't need to be having no debt and worried about diapers and all that too. And she does try to help, but it's just not enough. And now that she's got a promotion, I feel like she needs to take a little bit more responsibility. I've done everything I can, sweetie.
You know that I'm a double major, right?
I know that, sweetheart. But like I said,
I can't afford
London
to
is
do that.
important too. So.
I know she is, and that's why I leave her with you.
Mm-hmm. Well, just like I did a good job with raising
I
you.
leave her with you, and you leave your child with your mother and do not believe that your mother should receive some sort of financial assistance.
I feel like I give something back by being in school. You know, once I do get that education,
What are you
that
giving
degree,
back by being in school?
I'm giving her.
What are your plans after school?
Well, I'm majoring also in psychology, so
Okay.
I planned on opening.
This is where Judge Bailey drops the hard truth. If the child were in daycare, payment would be a given. So why not for the grandmother? The daughter deflects, saying she's giving back through her education. But Judge Bailey isn't letting that slide. She exposes how little time the mother actually spends with her child, questioning if pulling the blanket up at midnight counts as parenting. It's brutal, but fair. Reality hits. Love isn't enough when responsibility is missing, and grandma isn't just being nice, she's holding it all together.
My own clinic, doing a clinical psychologist, and then from there I could, you know, take care of my own daughter by then. I just right now need
And
some
move
assistance. Yeah, move out.
And your mom still takes care of the baby?
No, I could take care of the baby by then. I just need a little bit of help.
You
and
can take care
assistance.
of the baby by yourself now.
Thank you, Judge. I appreciate that.
So I'm still not hearing what your issue is.
My issue is just
Because she's your mom, you don't believe you need to pay her something.
that's what I thought.
Because if you think about it, you really don't live there. You just going to sleep. Mom is taking care of the baby. You'd agree with me, right? If you're
Yeah.
coming in at midnight, the baby is with your mom all day. You're literally coming to the house, not seeing the baby, because if it's at midnight, the baby is asleep, I'm assuming.
Right.
And you're going right back out
I
to go
tuck
to
her
school
in.
and work.
I tuck her in.
She's already tucked in, so you just pull the covers over a little higher.
I give
That's
her a
what you
kiss
do?
goodnight.
Sometimes she wakes her up, Judge, and just to play
You
with her
wake
for a little
up the
while.
baby at midnight.
Just so I can give her a kiss, you know, read her a little story, so that way there is some sort of bonding between us, since I do work, you know, all night long and go to school and all that.
Oh, well, that's nice. But what's going to be nicer is you're going to give your mother some of that money for taking care of your child, because she is footing the bill. She's taking care of everything. And if you think about it, technically, you're not even living with her. You're only staying there at night for a couple of hours. Right. And the baby is with your mom. And I'm assuming this happens on the weekends too?
No, on the weekends she does stay home, and you know, she does help. And like I said, she does like that. She's like not like that girl that goes clubbing and stuff. She does take that responsibility serious.
Yes.
It's just her job and school, and now she's going to work full time. Now she's going to be working more with the promotion.
Right, because I got that promotion.
You know, that kind of leaves us with a little extra money and no time, because we hardly had any time now. I can't even imagine what it's going to be like now that she's going full time.
Okay, this is what we're going to do. We're going to start your child support so you can at least give mom some sort of assistance. Now, at the time that you move out of the house,
Things get more personal as we hear how rare it is for the daughter to be present. She defends her bond by saying she reads a story or tucks the child in. But Judge Bailey is unmoved. Her observations cut deep. You don't live there, you sleep there. The distinction matters. Grandma has become the de facto parent, and when the daughter mentions her new promotion, that's all the judge needs to hear. Support isn't optional anymore. The ruling begins to form. Financial contribution is long overdue.
and you have the child on your own 100%. Mom is not babysitting. Mom is not, well, not even babysitting. The child is living with your mom.
Okay.
If the child is no longer living with your mom, your daughter is with you 100% of the time, then you can come back and see me to stop child support at that time.
Okay.
But until that happens, mom is going to receive some sort of financial break, essentially,
Right.
until that time happens. So it's going to be based off your income, and you just said that you make $50,000 a year now.
Mm-hmm. So
So at $50,000 a year, that brings your gross to $4,167. Your net is $3,516.78. There is a reimbursement to Medicaid. Now, you are working full time. You have access to health insurance now?
yes, yeah.
Do you know how much it'll cost?
I actually don't know. I don't
Oh,
know.
okay, this is what we're going to do, because Medicaid reimbursement is about $375. That's based on 9% of your gross.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure your health insurance is cheaper than that for your daughter only. So what I'll do is order you to be responsible for that health insurance and give you a credit of $100 towards the health insurance, okay?
Okay.
So that'll make your monthly child support obligation $803 to your mother.
Sorry, baby. You gotta learn.
Okay.
Any questions? No?
No.
No questions?
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you.
You're welcome. If there's nothing further, you all are dismissed.
Thank you.
You're welcome.